Welcome to Slope Weekend Update. I'm Emily, here to bring you some events and news around Cornell this week. Unfortunately, my co-host Joe is not able to be here this week, so I'll be bringing you the news by myself. Ithaca medical and engineer researchers may have found another tasty use for cotton candy. It turns out that the crystalline sugar helps tunnel blood supply to engineered tissues that are used to take the place of damaged tissue due to injury, burns, or from surgical procedures. The sugar will be used to create the tunnel, and scientists are using no other than a cotton candy machine to create the sugar fibers at the Cornell Nanobiotechnology Center. Cornell's faculty is facing some potential future cutbacks. A Cornell provost says that the faculty will shrink over the next 3 years, but the savings through these cuts will, quote, ensure fiscal recovery. Provost Fuchs says that some faculty searches will proceed, but there will be significantly less across the entire campus. He also states that, quote, we need to manage the number of faculty strategically so that high priority areas don't lose critical faculty, end quote. Bringing a bit of international news to Cornell's campus, last week there was an arrangement of black flags on the Art Squad to bring awareness to the Gaza crisis organized by certain pro-Palestinian student groups on campus. Cornell Israel Public Affairs Committee, or SIPAC, in response to the demonstration on the quad, organized a more two-sided rally from Olin Library. We were lucky enough to interview a few leaders of SIPAC on our show today regarding these demonstrations. Let's cut to Jenny, who spoke with them earlier.
Hi, I'm Jenny, and I'm here with Shai and Rosie from SIPAC. So, can you explain the events that has happened from 2 weeks to today to give some background?
Sure. Well, as you know, there's been a recent invasion of Gaza by Israel, and in response to Hamas rocket attacks from the Gaza Strip. And 2 weeks ago, I believe they were erected on Sunday night, members of the IAJ, Islamic Alliance for Justice, and other people put up 1,300 black flags on the Art Squad, along with, I think, 11 signs with quotes that they picked out and pieces of information that they thought were relevant to the conflict. And each of those flags were supposed to represent a death on both the Israeli and the Palestinian side. And
so leading up to that exhibit, we had a very good dialogue going with the IAJ and MECA, which is the Muslim Educational and Cultural Association, I believe. And those are the two, to some extent, comparable groups in the for the Muslim students on campus to SIPAC, which is the Cornell Israel Public Affairs Committee, and Cornell Hillel, which is the overarching Jewish life organization on campus. And so the four executive boards together have been meeting for dinners and for discussions since dating back to last semester. And we'd even started doing it on a bi-weekly basis this semester, where members of all the e-boards would get together and have dinner and discuss either topics that were relevant to Judaism or Islam, or specifically the conflict in the Middle East. And so they were going very well, and we were actually going to publish a joint statement in the Sun together as of a couple days after the exhibit was put up on the Art Squad. A lot of us on the e-boards of SIPAC and Hillel felt that the members of the IAJ and MECA had gone around our backs and put this up without informing us and without consulting us. We felt actually that we probably could have put up an exhibit together that expressed both viewpoints and educated the community in a joint fashion. What the exhibit specifically is, some of the problems that members of the SIPAC e-board and the Hillel e-board had with the exhibit in specific, besides the fact of how it was put together, was that the 1,300 flags memorialize many Hamas militants, and we don't really believe in memorializing people who are widely considered to be terrorists and killing innocent civilians in Israel. Many people from within our constituency and from within Hillel's constituency really felt that a response was necessary and that the other viewpoint needed to be expressed, and they felt uncomfortable with just seeing this one side of the situation put in front of them.
Okay, so with this in mind, how did you respond, and do you think it was effective?
Well, we had met with Hillel e-boards and with SIPAC members and people who were generally concerned about what was going on, and we crafted a response that we thought was appropriate. We had quarter cards going all through last week. We had a different one for each day, just providing students with the broader context to each of the claims made by the signs that were displayed, and also just general information about the conflict itself. And then this week we had a rally on Monday that was pro-Israel, pro-Palestine, pro-peace, and then we also had a sign display that we all approved and that we all put together that we think puts the conflict into the context that it deserves and that it really needs to be assessed in.
That's great. So do you have any upcoming events planned?
As of now, ending on with the exhibit that's up on the Art Squad currently was to some extent the completion of the comprehensive plan that we put together that we felt expressed the viewpoint that was lacking on the original display. But we're going to be discussing with members of the community, also with hopefully members of the IAJ, once we can pick up the discourse again and start working together. And hopefully there will be more forums and venues where people can really educate themselves on what's going on and also find ways that they can help or get involved personally.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming.
Thanks very much for having us.
Thanks, Jenny, Shai, and Rosie. National Girls and Women in Sports Day was celebrated on campus February 21st. This annual event brought dozens of girls in grades 1 to 6 in Bartell's Ramen Room. Some of Cornell's women gave pointers to the young girls in areas like crew, gymnastics, volleyball, lacrosse, rugby, and more. It's great to see Cornell's outreach to the community. Candidates for next year's Cornell Student Assembly have officially begun campaigning for elections that start on March 3rd. Cornell students can now directly elect our next president and executive vice president. Because the SA now has to accommodate a much larger student population, rules have been altered and added. Now, SAFC student organizations can endorse a candidate without informing the elections committee first, which has been a requirement in the past. To cast your vote, visit uPortal between March 3rd and March 5th. This Saturday, the 28th, at 8 p.m. in Barton Hall, Ludacris featuring Shauna will be performing. According to CornellConcerts.com, tickets are sold out. Doors open at 7 p.m. and I'll definitely be seeing you there. On a musical note, another musical note, the mashup, dance, electronic, glitch, pop, and experimental musician Girl Talk will be performing at Cornell's Barton Hall on Sunday, April 5th, 2009, 7 p.m. He will showcase his latest and greatest beats to the Cornell community. Tickets will be on sale March 3rd for $10 pre-sale on CornellConcerts.com or $15 at the door. The concert starts at 6, and you should definitely go because Girl Talk's awesome. Bhangra, Taiko Drumming, Class Notes, Absolute Zero, Cayuga's Waiters, and the Melodramatics will all be performing at the Big Red Benefit this Friday at 7:30. Big Red Relief hosts its 5th annual benefit concert in Bailey Hall, promoting awareness and money for the global food crisis with charity Action Against Hunger. Tickets are sold at BaileyTickets.com. Well, that's our show. Thanks for watching. Appreciation goes to the Cornell Chronicle and news.cornell.edu for some of the information. If you have any news or updates for us or are interested in coming on the show for an interview, please send them to our producer, tess.scott@slopemedia.org. Thanks.